Hello everyone. So let me start my timer. Okay, so one of the things that I'm really excited about this talk is normally when we go to the conferences and so on, we are mainly thinking about how we can actually teach a technological thing by using programming or like best practices and so on. This is like completely out of my experiences so far. I just dropped everything. Do we need this one? Wait, I will leave this for a second. That's a great start. Anyway, so since this is out of my experiences, this is going to be super open for conversations, questions, and so on. So I'm really looking forward to the end when you have more questions and when you judge me, which is the best part. So anyway, today I will talk about how you can create a content for everyone by Underengineering. By Underengineering, what I mean is how you can basically make a couple of steps to make your content reach better. Before I start though, I would like to take a moment to just talk about something. When we had the Sun Innovation, the moment of silence for the earthquake in Japan, I just realized that 3 weeks ago we had a huge tragedy, and honestly, I'm just getting on my feet. This is maybe 3-4 days, and I just realized that I was still under the effect of it. I just wanted to share with you that huge things happen in Turkey. There are a lot of good folks that are in need, and this is just a QR code in case you want to donate to a reliable foundation. I just put it there just for the sake of sharing with everyone. Everything counts. There's a story, but I will tell it later if I have the time. Okay, so brief introduction. My name is Salih. I am a developer advocate at AWS. Mainly I'm focused on a product called AWS Amplify, which is the tool that we have for making your service applications easier by providing you libraries or tools that you can use to actually integrate with your web and mobile applications. I have been a mobile developer for almost 10 years. Before that, I've been in communities for almost 6 years now. I started a couple of communities. Mainly these were focused on Flutter, which is the cross-platform development UI toolkit from Google. And thanks to that, I had actually the Google Developer Expert thing from that has been mentioned earlier on. And I've been living in Berlin for 7 years now, so if you're in Berlin, please write to me. I will take you to the best food places. As you can see, I'm a foodie, so you can vouch for that. Anyway, so today's agenda is around, I will tell you a story about how a developer learns something. Then I will mention about the problems that I've seen with that learning approach. Then I will tell you a really secret formula that I have made up for this conference. And lastly, I will talk about some actions. Then we will wrap it up, and hopefully we will have some time to talk about your questions. All right, story. Story starts with the decision. Decision is Salih, the developer, sees a new technology and wants to learn it. Why do I want to learn it? So when I started my career, I started off with this droid thinking. And I saw this and I was like, okay, this is so cute. And what do I learn with this? It's the Android development. So I started to learn Android development. So a couple of years went down. Then I saw this birdie. And I said, okay, this is a nice bird. What is this technology? And it turns out it's Flutter. So I learned Flutter as well. And recently, when I was in reInvent, I have seen this nice Rust thingy, and now I'm learning Rust as well. So you can see that I am a plushy-oriented developer, and this is how I decided my career. And 3 times I had this decision-making mechanisms in my life, and I had followed the same approach every time. I said, okay, this part I call this mistake. I just go to the document, and every time I have this perception of, okay, everything will be all right this time. The documentation has been improved, and people understand developers more now. but apparently they don't, because every time that I go to the documentation, I am bombarded by information that I simply do not need at that moment. I just want to learn, for example, how I can declare a variable, and in that moment they're trying to teach me how I can write hello world. I don't want to see hello world anymore. I just want to see how I can proceed simply. And then I say, okay, like, I need to do some calibration on my learning then. This happens all the time. And I said, okay, I need to learn from the experts. I need to learn from the people, content creators, like myself, like everyone here. So I go and practice from blogs, I go and practice from YouTube videos and so on. And I'm like, okay, now I learn, right? Like everything should be all right. That should be the end. But the answer is no. Of course not. That's not how it works. Why would it not work? The biggest reason is if something is new, there is a high chance that the code has been shared is outdated. And as we all know that when content is out there, many of the folks out there, they just leave it as it is, and we might end up with a code from like 2019, for example, that is completely out of date, doesn't work, not even compiled. So this is one thing. The other thing is the tutorial series is not finished. You go start a video series, and in the second video, the person says, okay, in the third video, I will show you how you can do, for example, authorization. And you wait, but that doesn't happen as well. So there is another problem. It's too advanced. One of the problems that I see with the content is like, you go and see, hey, beginner-friendly the content or like video, blog post about Rust. I opened it up, and that person just wrote lambda functions with Rust and said, hey, this is the simple way of writing lambdas. And I don't care about lambdas and custom runtimes right now. I don't. Like, that is not who I am, especially as a mobile developer. I'm still new to that world. Like, that is why I work in this product that doesn't require me to know everything about it. So yeah, the content would be too simple, like just saying hello world, or this is the biggest problem that I see, the content creator just uses Mac. So I will talk in detail about what it is, but honestly this is the most annoying thing to me, because every time that I asked the community members, I actually did a survey about it, and I had around like more than 1,000 words, I don't remember the exact number, but almost 72% of the people who voted, they're using Windows. But what we see is like Mac. What we see is like Ubuntu or like any other Linux distributions. Like, okay, you know, like it's nice, but that is not working for everyone. So, now we reach to the problem. The problem is, we always assume that, like at least these are the mistakes that I did, so please take it with a grain of salt. When I say we, I don't mean all of you. I just say we in the formal format about me. And assuming the audience knows everything that I know is something that is really bothering me, like something that has bothered me after a couple of videos that I created, because I didn't get the reaction that I wanted from the people. And the people were like, yeah, but that doesn't work. And in my machine it was working. Why doesn't it work for you? Then I realized that these people are like just in the beginning. They don't even have a simple setup on their computer. So if I'm talking about something beginner friendly, that needs to be beginner friendly. The second problem is we are always assuming that the people would learn in the way that we learn. Yes, it's nice to have empathy, and I will emphasize it later on one more time as well. However, we need to always learn from our audiences and see how they are learning. If they are reacting more to the written content, we need to focus on written content as well. We can still keep the fun part that we enjoy, but if the point is about making awareness and teaching people, then we need to listen to the audience. And the main point is coming here. We cannot always assume that people have the latest M1 Max Pro Plus 1000 with them. It's expensive, especially coming from like countries like Turkey, India, like many other countries. This have committed suicide, but I will just leave it here. And like if we assume that everyone has the resources that we do, it would be, unfortunately for saying this, but it would be selfish. We need to think of the others. We need to think of the greater good if we are reaching for the community and the people. And one thing to keep in mind is always test your content. We cannot just say that it works on my machine. No, we need to find ways about, which I will share later on again, find ways about how you can test your content on different devices, on different even regions to embrace everyone around there. And also keep in mind that everyone in the audience will not enjoy the content. You need to keep this in mind and try to embrace it in a way that just calibrate yourself to make your circle even bigger. Just do not focus on one point. And last problem that I want to mention is assuming it's all right to promise something and not deliver it. I mentioned it earlier on as well. You cannot go and, unfortunately, you cannot go and say in the video, in the next video you will learn about setting up like Docker container with XYZ, and people wait for it. Trust me, they wait for it. I waited for it in the beginning of my career. And when I asked people about it, I sometimes had rude answers from the people, and I'm like, I'm just asking for what you promised me. I am not blaming you, I'm just like asking you nicely. You can just say, no, I don't have time. But people sometimes take this like more personally, so that doesn't work. Anyway, so the formula, this is only for this conference. I have came up with this with like amazing thought process. So first, learn. And you need to learn from your peers. Like always take a look at your peers who either does the same content about same technology or different contents. There is no limit to learning. And if you love this job, if you love learning and teaching, this is the perfect part. Just learn how you can reach out to your peers. Because the interaction, we have a saying that one hand is always better, two hands is always better than one. So if you gather your hands together, you will make higher noises and so on. Anyway, it makes sense when you think about it. So you will just learn from your peers more and actually embrace it. Second thing, invest. Quality over quantity is something that I always say. I've seen many YouTube videos about, or YouTube channels about, every week I will have 3 videos. Every week I will show you like new content about this and that, which I really admire, but at the same time I find it really dangerous. Because at one point I'm seeing content just for the sake of having a content, like 1 line of code, 10 minutes of video. Yes, it's nice to be like consistent, and at the same time, yeah, you're also feeding the YouTube algorithm to be on top and so on. That's perfect. However, that doesn't feel right. That is most of the time doesn't serve the purpose. And you can see it from the view numbers. I've seen many times that they have like 1/10 of a view on those videos only because of the subscribers. They just check it out. I'm like when I talk to the folks who have been in this situation, and when they show me about the watch times compared to other videos, it is way lower. And like the way lower, I mean like 1/10 of lower, like 1/20 of lower. It's that low, like maybe 1 or 2 minutes of patience that people have. The second one is split. This formula is really important. The split part is really important because I've seen also, like, for example, in many other content creators, people create 6-hour video, 8-hour video. It requires a lot of dedication. I really respect and admire it. But according to the American Psychology Society, right now, they made a research in 2022, and longest focus period of people right now is estimated as 15 minutes. You cannot have 8-hour video and say that, okay, people watch it. No. And even though you would have amazing information about it, people need to search for it inside that video to be able to make it work. But if you just split it and put it to a title, you can still make the YouTube algorithm happy, and actually you would reach out to many more folks who are looking for exact thing that you're serving. And adjust. Adjusting is really important. It shows that you're embracing the feedback from everyone and changing how you are creating content. And lastly, have fun. If you do not love this job, this is the worst job ever. If you do not like creating content, talking to the people, getting feedback and so on, and if you just do it for the sake of doing, honestly, it will just drain your energy and like it will make you an unhappy person. So be happy and have fun. So you might be thinking, okay, how do we pronounce this formula? I call this like Liza, or you can call it Salih as well. That was my master plan. That is the reason that I sent this proposal. And honestly, like these 5 rules overall, they helped me a lot to like create my content. Anyway, so what are the actions that I have created? So you can see the suggestions as well. I'm not dictating anything. Again, this is from my personal experiences. You might disagree, and I will just embrace it from the Salih formula. And first, have empathy. Empathy is really important because like we sometimes forget about being a beginner, and this is a really important problem because as time goes by, we have more experience in the field, we learn new technologies, our learning curve goes more easier for us. It is more easier for us to learn, and we forget about being a beginner. We need to understand properly how to be a beginner. How you can do it? You can have a mentor that you can have a mentee that you can teach in the junior level. You can send some people in the junior level about the content and get their feedback and put yourselves into their shoes in the next couple of content. So embrace KISS principle. Like from software, KISS is different, but for me it's like keep it short, sunshine. So I think just keep the videos short. And when Steve talked about TikToks and so on, I just told you, right? I talked about actually this as well, because people have really short focus times and short memory about this. If you want to give your message, use it wisely. And once you transfer your message, definitely it will arrive. Share your content. Share your content with everyone. Juniors, medium level, senior people, not in your field. Every field. I'm a mobile developer and I send all the content that I created to backend engineers, for example, like cloud developers, just to see that someone from outside, if they can understand it, if they can embrace it as well. Be open for criticism. I know that all these content and everything is our babies and we are proud of them, but at the same time, babies, they're not perfect. They need adjustments, they need some learning curves as well. So embrace the fact that everyone here is looking forward to your best interest and listen to them when they give you feedback. And be casual. You are not people's teacher or parent. You do not need to teach them the MIT courses that we see on YouTube. You can have fun, you can make jokes, you can be even friends with the people on live stream. That works a lot. And know your audience. Once you know your audience and put yourself into their shoes, what you're going to be giving them will be really valuable in a way that they will actually embrace the way that you share your content even higher in the future. And create a feedback loop. This is really important because you need to always hear from them. Sometimes people have a hard time to make a YouTube comment and so on. That's why either creating content or asking around from the audience that you already know about, hey, what did you think of this video? And how was the experience compared to this? And one thing that I always try to do is when you go and ask, after this talk, if I come to you and ask, what did you think of the talk? If I ask you like this, you're all nice and kind people. You will say, it was good. If you hated it, you will say, worst case scenario, yeah, it was good. But if you want to hear the right answers, you need to ask the right questions. You need to say, hey, what do you think that I can improve on this talk? Because this will give them a chance to understand the fact that you know that there is a room for improvement and you are asking for their guidance instead of just when you ask the question, what did you think of this talk? It means okay, I'm looking for some approval. Give me the approval that I need. And I believe people are inherently good, and that is why most of the time everyone will say, even though in their hearts they will not agree, they will just say, yeah, it was good, or it was great, or it was perfect. But I would rather have the feedback than the perfects, because perfects doesn't put me forward. 2, So to sum things up, most important thing is Salih principle. like split, adjust, learn, invest, and have fun. These are really important 5 points about creating your content. Keep it short, sunshine. Keep it short so you can share it with more people. And most importantly, have empathy. Empathy is going to take you along ahead of the others because this is actually a really high quality that we take it for granted. So always be like in empathy. Always think of the other person and what situation they might be in, like in the reality life, in their real life, or in the audience life. So always keep this in mind. So thank you very much for listening. In this QR code, you can find all the socials that I have. I really appreciate it. And if you didn't get it, so this is the Dash, this is the Android, and white glasses, I'm the Gandalf here. So thank you very much.